It is Wednesday. I saw this morning a video of an American woman, I think her name was Irina, being stabbed on a bus in America. And what a despicable world. Or rather, no. What despicable acts happen in this world in which we live. It's like yesterday as well, there was news about attacks on Doha by, I think it's by Israel, I think that's what the headline said. This morning I got a video through, sent to me on Instagram, of the seat of power in Nepal burning. I didn't even read the article. I got no idea if it was an attack on the seat of power or if just an electric cable caught fire. And I was considering over the last 3 days when we were doing this Drive Diaries, should I look to try and incorporate some of the news that strikes each morning? And this morning when I was making my coffee, grinding it, filter paper, V60, that's what I use. I tried to load up Radio 1 because I didn't want to be stuck in front of the telly. I wanted to be able to move around and listen to it, and in my head, maybe because there's no images, I kind of have this idea, which might be completely unfounded, that the radio might be a little bit less over the top. Anyway, the VPN didn't work, BBC Sounds did not play, so that was over. And I ended up flicking on YouTube and watching a video about, there's this coffee guy in London. I want to say his name's James Hoffman. He's got an absolutely outstanding head of hair, wears good spectacles, and he featured recently on the Socially Distanced Sports Pod. It was their best bits. It's him tasting coffee, and I love coffee, or at least I thought I loved coffee, until I actually listened to how much this guy loves coffee. And so this clip, or rather this video that I uploaded, I watched this clip on YouTube, and it's him talking about the history of the V60. Now, I was given a Harrier-made V60 for one of my birthdays. I want to say it was my 30th birthday. No, it would have been my 29th, because I remember quite distinctly making V60s all the way through COVID. So it would have been my 29th, and I was with Lara at the time. We got into pour over coffee. Prior to that, it was always an espresso, but I like a big jug of coffee, and there's something quite wholesome about the ritual of grinding the beans, or even before that, going into typically Waitrose and sniffing all the different aluminium bags, and then once you get the bags home, you look at the darkness of the roast. I found that I did typically like a lighter roast that bit more, and it got to the point where we were spending £16 on a bag of coffee beans, an obscene amount of money, when you can pick up beans for about £1.99 in your local Lidl. But very good value compared to a pint of beer. You know, a bag of 250 grams of coffee gives me about 8 mornings of coffee over a week of deliciousness, and it kind of added some flavour to the morning ritual. I'm driving home now to the rest of a jug But it's actually a Hario thermos jug. And in that, I have used incredibly cheap coffee. Not quite Lidl style, but I think it's 30 dirhams for a bag of 500 grams, so about £6. It's not too far off. It's not a bad roast either. So I went from wanting to scout the news to have things to kind of mull over on this drive to just watching a white man with particular hobbies talk about the history of the V60. And then, because I'd had coffee and it had gone straight through me, I left, went to the toilet, came back, and Sibel had turned over, so I never actually got to listen to the history of coffee. And then I'm just trying to get into the right frame of mind to do some work, but I really don't want to work. I've got the issue of my event on Saturday at the Safa Library. We still have nobody sign up for what I actually want to put on. And what I actually want to put on is a course in literature. But no one signed up, and so I'm going to have to rejig it. How else can I advertise what the company is trying to do? How else can I advertise what I am doing? Because at the very least, I think it would be nice to get a few people in. What would I want to do as a writer? What would I like to go to for free? It's a nice venue. I've left it too late to get in contact with any of the authors or publishers that I might have on Instagram. Don't know. Don't know, and I really need a wee. And the fact that I need a wee is far more pressing to me at the moment. And I made a mistake yesterday. I downloaded my old nemesis, Football Manager. I'd seen on YouTube this guy talking about a challenge of trying to win the Champions League within 10 seasons, starting as unemployed, as a manager of 0 qualifications and the lowest possible attribute rankings. And he got to the final in his 10th season, but he lost the final. And so I've decided to try and imitate that with my new team, Tunbridge Angels. I thought it was Tunbridge Wells. I think I played about 6 league games yesterday, won 3, drew 2, lost 1. Transfer kitty of £0. I've used up the wage allowance by signing a new defender, £20,000 a year. But it is an aspect of the game that I never really bothered with before. Moving jobs. Never did it. And I think I've been pushed to this because I'm getting excited for Football Manager 26. But I don't have a computer that's going to be powerful enough to actually do it. I got my laptop back in 2020. I used my student loan for starting my masters at Goldsmiths to buy it. And I would say for the first 2 years, I felt zippy as hell. And then at some point, Apple brought out, they moved from the Intel chips to the Apple silicon chips. And all of a sudden, my computer felt incredibly slow. I don't know why that is. Like, I know Apple used to purposefully slow down their old iPhones. Do they also slow down their old laptops? Is it just that programs are now built for faster laptops, or websites are more demanding? I did some research and found that the 4K 32-inch screen that I plugged my laptop into will be a drain on its something chip. I don't know. I really need a wee. I really, really need a wee. And there's so much more traffic today in Dubai. Like, I took Sibel to work, which is something I do in part because I love taking her, being part of her morning, and in part to get me out of the house, and in part because I hate the fact that she will go by taxi rather than take the metro that we live a 4-minute walk from. And so every time I take her, in my head we're saving 30 dirhams. Over a week, 150. If I pick her up as well, I get to 200 dirhams saved. But in reality, all I'm losing is I lose 40 minutes a day, but then I've started to share with her the podcasts that I like listening to. So far, only socially distant sports bar. Just makes me laugh. These 3 Welsh men with kind souls who care about their children and care about society, and can also have a good old laugh at themselves, and are not too woke, although I hate the use of that word as some sort of derogative, but they're not too woke to also just laugh at somebody if somebody is a bastard. Because bastards do exist. And you do need to have the wherewithal to call a spade a spade. Does that phrase have racial connotations? Or am I thinking that because my gran used to call black people as black as the ace of spades? And what was funny is when I was younger, I didn't really understand. Obviously, I didn't understand what she was talking about, but I always used to think, well, isn't the ace of clubs very black? Like, why is it only the spade that you are comparing this poor African man to? What about the clubs? Something else I should probably look up, figure it out. I'm currently into my Anglo-Saxon history, the Vikings. Like this morning when I went to the bathroom, by the time I got back, on my YouTube instead was a history of England and Britain, looking at the different kingdoms: Mercia, Wessex, Northumbria. There are 4 more, but I can't remember them. They're kind of dotted around the East Coast. Maybe East Anglia. Maybe one was Cornwall. I find the Cornwall separatist movement really interesting. I don't know how strong it is, or if it's all a bit tongue-in-cheek just to reaffirm identity. But as I've got a little bit older, I do find issues of society and identity trouble me would be the wrong word, but I have more concern for society and its construction. I want to be involved in it rather than shy away from it. I think in part that's down to my enduring belief that if given the opportunity, the majority of people will do the good thing rather than the selfish thing. Now, not everybody, I do want to stress the word majority. I'm aware that a lot of people are bastards, It's quite an optimistic view, and my optimism in the past has been shown to be completely and utterly groundless. Back in 2022, when the Russian army was moving to the border of Ukraine, and I just thought, no, it won't happen. That won't happen. Surely they won't go to war. And they went to war. Back when COVID was becoming something, I thought, no, nothing will happen, it'll be okay. We can be optimistic about all of this. And it was the worst. Boris Johnson and Partygate. I thought Boris Johnson would get kicked out for such a long time, because I just thought at some point the goodness of people will win through, and he will be embarrassed by his own continued rubbishness within his profession. Nope. Essentially, whatever I think, the opposite will probably happen. And this large Chinese woman on the zebra crossing just gave me absolute daggers. I'm not sure why. I haven't seen the roads this full in a while. I was almost late. Well, I was late getting Sibel to work because we drove into a school jam. But it's not a school jam that I have seen before. And the roads to my left right now are chock-a-block. Another zebra crossing. I'll wait for this lady. But yeah, so that's what I need to do today. I need to get my mind on work and try and stay focused. Maybe I'll manage 6 more Tunbridge Angels games again as I wait for my food to arrive, and then during the cook of it. And so part of my morning ritual after Sibel leaves is to clean the house. Stick on a podcast, do the dishes, clean up all the food from the night before. I reckon today, alongside my washing up bowl, I'll see if Tunbridge Wells can get into the playoffs. I'm just going to try and park again. And I've been on a pretty good run recently. I've gotten in first time every time. Not going to happen today. Oh, is it? Is it? I'm very tight to that bollard. Come on. That is exemplary parking. Oh, even by my standards, I'm so close to that side. Oh, that has brightened my day. When I first moved into this apartment, it was taking me so many goes over and over again to park. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is perfection.